Hello, welcome to this new series, Parsha Q&A. This will not be a regular series. This will just be a format for me to answer questions as they come in. So if questions are asked of me that I think are sufficiently interesting or worth making a video on, I will produce a video. So this will be a sporadic series. Okay, again, this is for Parshat Shemot. That corresponds to Exodus 1:6:1, and this is for the reading year of 5779. Okay, so I was asked, basically, what is with all of Jethro's names? It seems to be a bit of it's like the P game, you know. It's like what is his name now? And the close proximity of these two verses, I think, is what elicited this question. Okay, so let's go ahead. So Exodus 2:18, it speaks of the daughters of Jethro. It says, Tavaona el Ruel avihin, they came to Ruel, their father, v'yomer, and he said, Modu mahartan bohayom. Why have you hurried to come home today? Meaning you're home early, essentially. So here, clearly, the daughters, the father of Tzipporah, her being one of the daughters, is Ruel. And it's clearly called their father. Okay, fine. Exodus 3:1, just hop, skip, and jump over to the next chapter. It says, Umoshe hayeroya et zon Yitro chotno. Moshe was a shepherd of the flock of Yitro chotno, his father-in-law, Kohen Midian, who was the Kohen of Midian, the priest or the dignitary, some sort of official in Midian. Okay, so here we have Ruel, and also we have Jethro, relatively close together. So the person who asked me this question basically wanted to know what's up with that. But the question actually is more complicated, because we see the Jethro has, in fact, seems to have more names. So if we go over to Exodus 4:18, it says over here, V'yelech Moshe went, V'yoshev el Yeter chotno, and he returned to Yeter, his father-in-law, V'yomer lo, and he said to him, Elchana, I will go, please, or I'll go now. V'ashuva el achai, and I will return to my brothers, asher b'Mitzrayim, that are in Mitzrayim. Ve'era, and I shall see, ha'odam chaim, if they're still living. V'yomer Yitro, and Yitro said, L'Moshe, lech l'shalom, go in peace. So we have Yeter, his father-in-law, and then all of a sudden he becomes Yitro. Okay, so that's interesting. So Rashi here, Rashi being the principal commentator, probably the first place that most Jews would look, in the middle of his comments on this verse, he says, V'shiva Shemot hayelo. He had 7 names: Ruel, Yeter, Yitro. So we've seen these. Kini, Chovov, Chever, and Putiel. Okay, these are all names that seem to be referring to Yitro. Okay, so you can look those up and see. Some of these are not so clear. Like, for instance, this one, Putiel, just is a identified with Yitro as a tradition. Do with that what you will. Okay. Further, we have in Numbers 10:29, Bamidbar 10:29. V'yomer Moshe l'chovav ben Ruel Hamidjani choten Moshe. And Moshe said l'chovav to Chovav ben Ruel, the son of Ruel Hamidjani, the Midianite, choten Moshe, the father-in-law of Moshe. So this previous Rashi, I want to note before we go further, is he's bringing this as this whole list here as of names of Yitro as a traditional list that comes from a medrash, a collection of midrashim called the Mechilta, and that can be found in 18:1. They're in the Mechilta. Okay, now let's go over here. Now, in this verse, I just read, V'yomer Moshe said, L'chovav ben Ruel, to Chovav, son of Ruel, Hamidjani, the Midianite, Choten Moshe, the father-in-law of Moshe. Okay, so here apparently Chovav is the father-in-law of Moshe. Now, this is interesting, and Ruel is the father. So over here we have in Exodus 2:18, they came to Ruel their father. So that's interesting. We also see that the Kohen Midian title is not applied here to Ruel. So, however, it is applied here in Exodus. Okay. Fine. Chovav ben Ruel. So we have one list, the Mechilta, that says Ruel is Yitro. And it also says Chovav is Yitro. So this is problematic. So Rashi has another comment here. Rashi says, Chovav, the name Chovav. This is the hyperlink into the text. He says, Hu Yitro, this is Yitro. Shenemar, as it says, Mipnei Chovav Choten Moshe, from the children of Chovav, Choten Moshe, the father-in-law of Moshe. And this, of course, is brought in Judges, Shoftim 4. I have to give the exact verse above. Umat Hamalomer, and what? So, if that's the case, what does it teach us? Umat Hamalomer, what does it teach us? To Va'ona el Ruel Avian, that they came to Ruel their father. That's the previous verse from chapter 2. Melamed, it teaches us She'atinokot Korin la'avi avihan abba. It teaches us that the tinokot, the children, the young daughters, the children, Korin la'avi avihan, call the father of their father, meaning their grandfather, they call him Abba. They also call him father. So in other words, this Rashi says is that they call their grandfather, they also call them father by convention. So let's go ahead and finish up this Rashi. Concerning Yitro, V'shemot har b'hayalo, and he had many names. What were they? Some examples. Yitro, why was it called Yitro? Midrashically speaking, al shem sheyeta Parsha echat b'Torah, because of him, he had one more Parsha was added to the Torah, meaning his whole story of coming to greet Moshe in the wilderness, which we'll have later. So that's why he's called Yitro. Yeter means more. So Sheyeter Parsha echat b'Torah, that it was increased one Torah in one Parsha in the Torah. Chovav, why was he called Chovav? Al shechivev et Torah, because he loved the Torah. These are explanations that are brought in the Sifrei, which is another collection of rabbinic midrashim. Do with that what you will. Okay, so, but his main point over here is Ruel is the grandfather. He's the father of Chovav. Chovav is Yitro. Okay, so if you go back over here, let's see what it says. It says Ruel Avihin. In Exodus 2, it says Ruel the father. So we come down here. So what Rashi would have us believe is that Avihin here really means their grandfather, not their father. So he would say that was a matter of norms. Kakoran Avi Avihin, the father of the father, they would call them Abba. They'd call him father also. So that's fine for Rashi to say. That's what we ask ourselves. Is there any biblical precedent for this? Okay, so let's go down. There is one from Genesis 32:10 in Jewish Bibles, verse 9 in non-Jewish Bibles. Okay? So it says over here, for Yomer Yaakov, and Yaakov said, Elohei Avi, the God of my father Avraham, Abraham, for Elohei Avi Yitzchak, and the God of my father Yitzchak. He's addressing the God of his forefathers. And we have Yaakov here, Jacob, referring to Abraham as his father. So we have, which of course he's not his father, he's his grandfather. So this confirms Rashi's comment that it is biblical convention, at least sometimes, it's within the realm of normalcy in the culture of the Bible to refer to your grandfather as your father. Okay, so we have two possibilities to answer the question. Ruel was either their father, and this is just another name of Jethro, or Ruel is the grandfather, and they're referring to him as their father. Okay, so this that seems to be the explanation that makes the most sense in light of Numbers 10:29, where it says Chovev ben Ruel. The Midiani Choten Moshe, the father-in-law of Moshe. We know who the father-in-law of Moshe was. It was Jethro. So Chovev is another name of Jethro, and Ben Ruel, son of Ruel, that would make him, Ruel, the grandfather of Zipporah, of the girls that came to tell concerning Moshe. Okay, I hope that is clear, at least as clear as mud. So if you have any other questions this week or other parshiot, other portions throughout the year, please feel free to ask. I like interacting with people who are learning. It is a pleasure. Okay, so I hope that was beneficial. Kol Tuv, Hatzlacha Rabba, keep learning.